you will push them towards good things, therefore you are one who's initiating something good in Islam. Right? And then after that, the second part of the dua, وَجَعَلْنَا لِلْمُتَّقِينَ إِمَامًا, and make us imams for the pious people, for the people of taqwa. Not just imams of, nikleve people, people who are doing all sorts of bad things, an imam of pious people, of the muttaqun. Why are you making that dua? Because the imam is the one who people, they see, and then they'll do good things. So you'll get the reward of being one who initiates good, brings good into people, right? So as one, if you're a person who's a leader and you're doing some good action and people follow you in that, you'll get the reward. That's why why is it that the entire ummah, I'm from one perspective I'm saying, the entire ummah, all of their deeds cannot surpass the deeds of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Why? I mean, obviously, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam's level and ma'rif of Allah is so much that one tasbih, one sajda of his, no one from Adam alayhi salam to the end of time can equal that. But what's another reason? How can we never equal him? Because every single deed, act of ibadah that we do is initiated by him. He's the one that showed us how to do all of this. So he gets the reward for all of our deeds as well. He has his deeds, which enough would be more than everyone else. And then all of our deeds are a result of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam initiating this good. وَجَعَلْنَا لِلْمُتَّقِينَ إِمَامًا. Second ayah, وَقَالَ تَعَالَى وَجَعَلْنَاهُمْ أَئِمَّةً يَهْدُونَ بِأَمْرِنَا. What ayah, what surah is this in? وَجَعَلْنَاهُمْ أَئِمَّةً يَهْدُونَ بِأَمْرِنَا. Yes, Surah Anbiya, first half of 17th. We made them imams, yahduna bi amrina, and they guide by our order. This is referring to the Anbiya alayhimus salatu wassalam. But what are we learning here? One who guides others, they're initiating good acts. The third ayah, there's no third ayah here. After that, he brings a hadith. This first hadith is long, the second hadith is short. But the explanation, I don't think will be too long. عن أبي عمرو جرير بن عبد الله رضي الله عنه. Jarir bin Abdullah رضي الله عنه, he became Muslim in the 10th year of Hijrah. One of the last people who accepted Islam. One of the last. But yet Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam had a lot of love for him. Right? And he was very handsome. Umar radiallahu anhu, he said that he was the Yusuf of this ummah. He was also known for being very, very tall. In this 1 year that he was with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he spent time with him. He narrates 160 hadith. And he died in the year 51 in Africa. So he says that, قَالَ كُنَّا فِي صَدْرِ النَّهَارِ. We were with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, عند رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, at the beginning of the day, around before chash time, right? After ishraq, before duha time. Earlier part of the morning, 9, 10 o'clock. فَجَاءَهُ قَوْمٌ عُرَاتٌ مُجْتَابٍ نِمَارٍ. A group came who, it says naked, but mujtabin nimar awil aba. What they did is they were naked. It's saying naked, but then it says that their shawl, mujtabin nimar, they put it over their neck. What this means is that they cut a hole, like they had like a shawl like this. This nimar is actually like a striped type of shawl, but it's black and white. They cut a hole in the middle and they just put it over their head, like poncho. Like how the Mexicans were. Poncho, it was like that. Meaning they didn't have much. That's all they had. They couldn't even wrap their shawl around their body because they didn't have any other clothing. Mutaqallidi suyuf, and they had their swords hanging. Everybody at that time, they had swords. And in this day and age, a person should know how to handle a firearm. Everybody should have a concealed license. Whether you choose to carry or not, you should have it at least, right? The knowledge of that should be with a person. Because if you don't know how, other people don't know how, right? Women should learn as well how to handle a firearm. Otherwise, how are you going to protect yourself? Whether you carry it or not, that's your own choice. But this is the sunnah. The Sahaba, they would always have some weapon with them. At least they knew how to use it. And nowadays, a sword isn't going to do you much good. It might if you know how to use it. But the gun is what's used. A person should know how to use it, right? Again, it's a constitutional right. Know how. Choose to carry or not, but why not avail of a right that you have? Okay? Now, وَعَامَّتُهُمْ مِن مُضَرٍ بَلْ كُلُّهُمْ مِن مُضَرٍ. Most of them were for the tribe of Mudar. Mudar was a large tribe. It was Mudar and Nizar, right? Mudar and Nizar. And Mudar was the one that the Quraysh, they were descended from, right? Yep. So there were two larger tribes in the Arabs. One was called Mudar, the other was called Nizar. Mudar, actually the Quraysh, they descended from them as well. So they came from there. فَتَعَمَّرَ وَجْهُ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ. The face of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam changed. لِمَا رَأَى بِهِمْ مِنَ الْفَاقَةِ. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam's face changed because he saw how hungry they were, how much they were struggling, yet nobody helped them despite seeing their condition. فَدَخَلَ. So he went inside of his room. Why? Probably to see if he had anything. But Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam never lived like a king. ثُمَّ خَرَجَ. He came out, he didn't have anything to give them. فَأَمَرَ بِلَالًا. And he ordered Bilal radiallahu anhu فَأَذَّنَ وَأَقَامَ, to give the azan and give iqamah. This means, Jarir bin Abdullah says, they started sitting at the beginning of the day. Now there's no azan or iqamah for nafil salah. This means that they waited all the way till Zuhr. At Zuhr time, nobody has given them anything, so then Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he led salah. فَصَلَّى ثُمَّ خَطَبَ. Then he gave a khutbah. فَقَالَ يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسُ اتَّقُوا رَبَّكُمُ الَّذِي خَلَقَكُم مِّن نَفْسٍ وَاحِدَةٍ إِلَى آخِرِ الْآيَةِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ كَانَ عَلَيْكُمْ رَقِيبًا. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam recited the first ayah of Surah An-Nisa. O mankind, fear your Rabb who created you from one soul. Then وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ, again fear Allah, الَّذِينَ تَسَاءَلُونَ بِهِ, the one through whose name you ask one another. Wal arham, and fear Allah in regard to family relations. They have some tribal relation. And they are poor. So they're not taking Allah's name, but you're bound together in Islam. Give them something. After that, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he said, "Wal ayatul ukhra allati fi akhir al-hashr." He recited an ayah from the end of Surah Hashr. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu attaqullah, O believers, fear Allah. Wal tanzur nafsum ma qaddamat lighad. And one should take care. One should be concerned about what they have sent forth for tomorrow. What does this mean? This comes in the Quran again, sending forth, sending forth. How many people here have gone to Umrah or Hajj? Raise your hand. Okay. How many people are going this year? Planning to go sometime this year. Okay, then make dua. Inshallah, I can go as well. I don't think it'll happen this year, but make dua. Now look, when you go, do you just show up there? Do you just show up? No, you don't. You send money ahead. You make arrangements ahead. You get a hotel booked. You get this booked, you get a tour, you get sometimes a tour guide booked, you have food arranged through a package, everything is arranged. You've sent your money forward for tomorrow. You don't just show up hoping for the best, right? This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us to do for the Day of Judgment. Send your deeds forward so all of the preparations are made for you. Don't just show up on the Day of Judgment and say, hey, inshallah, things will work out for me, right? So then, تصدق رجل من ديناره من درهمه من ثوبه من صاع بره من صاع تمره. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam that said, look, spend. A man should spend from his dinar, gold. Min dirhamihi, from his dirhams. If a person doesn't have silver, min thawbihi, give some clothing. Min sa'i burrihi, give some wheat. Give some wheat. Min sa'i tamrihi. No, sorry, burr is barley. Give some barley. Give some dates. Min sa'i tamrihi. Hatta qala walau bi shiqqi tamratin. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, give a bit of a date if you can. When we give sadaqah, right? When we give sadaqah, sometimes you think, what will I do? I give $5, I give $1. What can I do? It doesn't matter what your contribution can do according to your thoughts. It matters what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala thinks of it. Why? فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَى. Whoever does any good, you'll see it. Dharra. Some ulama, they explain that when you look through the window and you see little bit of sun rays coming in and you see dust in the air, this dust speck is dharra. You do that much good, you'll see it on the Day of Judgment. And if you do it ikhlas, that one thing will be enough for you to get into Jannah. So give whatever you can. One time somebody came to Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas radiallahu anh, asked for something. He gave him a small piece of bread. You know, sometimes beggars, they have like a lot of attitude. That's all you could give? Sa'd radiallahu anh, he said, yeah, that's all I can give. So don't think any less of it, because فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَى. You might not see the good in this, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will see the good in this. So we should try to take an issue. Don't trust in somebody else. Don't trust that your children are going to build a masjid in your name after you pass away. Do it yourself, right? So then, after this, فَجَاءَ رَجُلٌ مِنَ الْأَنصَارِ. A person, he came from the Ansar. His name isn't mentioned. Who this person was, Wallahu alam. بِصُرَّةٍ كَادَتْ كَفُّهُ تَعْجِزُهُ عَنْهَا. With a bag with so much money that was about to fall. بَلْ قَدْ عَجَزَتْ. He dropped it, like it had so much in there. ثُمَّ تَتَابَعَ النَّاسِ. When people saw that this guy gave so much, this Ansari gave so much, people began to follow him. حَتَّى رَأَيْتُ كَوْمَيْنِ مِنْ طَعَامٍ وَثِيَابٍ. Until I saw, Jarir Razan said, two big like mountains, heaps of food and of clothing. حَتَّى رَأَيْتُ وَجْهَ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وسلم يَتَهَلَّلُ كَأَنَّهُ مُذْهَبَةٌ. That's such that I saw Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam's face enlightened, right? Glowing. Okay? فَقَالَ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وسلم مَنْ سَنَّ فِي الْإِسْلَامِ سُنَّةً حَسَنَةً فَلَهُ أَجْرُهَا. Whoever initiates a good act in Islam, they will get the reward. وَأَجْرُ مَنْ عَمِلَ بِهَا. And the reward of the one who acts on it. مِنْ بَعْدِهِ. After him. مِنْ غَيْرِ أَنْ يَنْقُصَ مِنْ أُجُورِهِمْ. Without the people after them, their reward getting reduced by any. شَيْءٌ. وَمَنْ سَنَّ فِي الْإِسْلَامِ سُنَّةً سَيِّئَةً كَانَ عَلَيْهِ وِزْرُهَا. And whoever initiates an act in Islam, a bad act in Islam, كَانَ عَلَيْهِ وِزْرُهَا. The sin is on him. وَوِزْرُ مَنْ عَمِلَ بِهَا. And the sin of those who come after him, مِنْ بَعْدِهِ. After him, مِنْ غَيْرِ أَنْ يَنْقُصَ مِنْ أَوْزَارِهِمْ شَيْءٍ. Without the reward, the sin of the others being reduced at all. Rawahu Muslim. Now think about that. You start something good. My teacher, Hazrat Maulana Abdullah Salim, Hafizahullah. He came to America that time, 1980s. No ulama in Chicago. He was the only one. No madrasas in America. He started a madrasa. How many people came out of that institution, became huffaz, like in my own class. Sheikh Saad Qadri, always coming to the youth retreat, he was in my class. Sheikh Hafiz Azam Hashmi, my classmate. Ustad Ubaidullah Evans, my classmate. Hafiz Kamran Riaz, this is a big name, came few years before me. Mufti Abrar Mirza, he did alim course after I did his, right? Like all of these people came through that one institution, and everybody's going in their own place, right? Everybody's doing their work, right? He's getting the reward, inshallah. He did not take it away from us, inshallah. The reward is to him. And then who taught him? Who made him? And it all goes back to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? But when a person does good even after they die, the reward goes on. But then I'll caution one thing as well. When a person starts something bad, especially we're going to see this more and more, we have a certain conservatism. But then there'll be people who, over time, what they do is they want to tear down these barriers, right? Literal and figurative, right? They'll begin to tear these down. Like the first person, like when the Quraysh, when they were going to rebuild the Kaaba, they were all afraid to break it. Then one person just came and broke the wall. And then after that, everybody felt comfortable to do it. Similarly, there's certain things that we have. Diniyat, religiousness, religiosity that we have. But there's whole agenda of Muslims try to break this down. And then, even within our circles, what will happen is one person will come and they'll be the one that will have the courage to break down this barrier that was keeping us from sin. And then after that, the taboo is gone. More and more people will start to do it. The sin will be on them. But who's the person that's getting the first sin? The one who broke it down. So we should be very careful when we try to take one step away from our elders. What will happen? I remember when I finished reading Tirmidhi Sharif, studying Tirmidhi Sharif, I asked my teacher, can you write some du'as in the book? In the front he wrote, mashallah, Wahajuddin ne bahut mehnat se padha ye wo. And then after that he wrote one thing. He said, "Aur nasihat hai ke apne tafarrudat se bache." Stay away from having your own opinions. Don't move away from the way of the elders. Otherwise that will lead to disaster, right? And that will lead to what? You initiate something in Islam that's bad. Sin is for you, but the sin will be after you as well. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect all of us. The last hadith, I'll read it very short. وَعَنِ ابْنِ مَسْعُودٍ رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنْهُ. I don't need to explain it. أَنَّ النَّبِيَّ صلى الله عليه وسلم قال, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, لَيْسَ مِن نَفْسٍ تُقْتَلُ ظُلْمًا. There is not a soul that is killed in an oppressive manner, ظلما إلا كان على ابن آدم الأول كفل من دمها, except the burden of his blood is on the son of Adam عليه السلام, لأنه his elder son, لأنه كان أول من سن القتل, because him Qabil was the first one who initiated murder in this earth. Muttafaqun alayh. Right? He started this bad thing, so the sin is going on him. And if you start a good thing, the good deeds will go to you. So find opportunities to start something good. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward all of us, protect all of us. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillah. قوله مجتبى النمار هو بالجيم بعد الألف باء محدد والنمار جمع نمرة وهي كسام. What is that? Oh, they start to stop the stream. Oh, السلام عليكم. Assalamu alaikum.